G'day, it's Pete here and I'm back for a featured lesson. Now today I wanted to talk about choosing the right card, or sometimes there's times where you think that it doesn't matter what you do and they're all equal, but there is actually a right card. Because most people when they're thinking about suit breaks think, oh yeah, this suit's probably going to break 3-2 and if I cash my ace king queen it's all good. But the way I like to think about it is, when does it actually matter? In which fringe cases does it matter, and using that to help you choose the right card. So I've got a few different example hands, go through it, try and talk about them, so let's just jump straight in and see what we can do. So for all of these we're only caring about the spade suit, so we'll just put us in 7 spades, and let's say we get a club lead. So we've got this spade suit, and we've got nothing. Like, we're only worrying about the spade suit in all these cases. We've got hearts, diamonds, clubs, all covered. So we want to pick up the spade suit, and we've got ace, queen, 10 to 5 spades. Opposite, king to 3. So we've got 8 spades, and if they break 3-2, that's all good. We've got all the tricks. So we should cash our ace, king, queen of spades, and be done with it. But no, not really. So what you can realize is if spades are 3-2, we could play any of our ace, king, queen in any order and it does not matter. So instead what you want to actually think about is, when does it matter and what can I cater for? So here what you want to be thinking is, alright, spades 3-2, that's all good. That's the most likely thing that's going to be happening, so I don't want to lose to any 3-2 spade divisions. But what if spades are 4-1? Or what if spades are 5-0? Can I do anything about that? So let's just first take a look at the spades that we're actually missing. So we're missing Jack, 9, 8, 7, and 2. So if spades are 5-0, we might be able to win our ace, king, queen. We might even be able to win our 10, but our 6 of spades will never be able to beat the Jack, 9, 8, 7. So spades 5-0 with either player, we cannot do anything about. Okay, so what about spades being 4-1? So if East has 4 spades to the Jack, we can cash the king of spades and we can play a spade towards the 10, and our 10 will win a trick. Okay, but as you mentioned, as you might realize, is that, well, what about if spades were 3-2? We played a spade to the king, we played a spade to the 10. If West has a doubleton Jack of spades, or even 3 spades to the Jack, we now lose. So as we can see, finessing the 10 of spades is bad because we haven't found out spades are 4-1. So there's an important thing here where it's discoverability. We want to make sure we cater for all 3-2 distributions of the missing cards, because that's the most likely thing. And then after that, can we cater for spades being 4-1? So if we play a spade to the king and a spade to the 10, it doesn't work for all 3-2 distributions, so then that's bad. But we can pick up spades being 4-1 with East having the Jack. What about West having 4 spades having the Jack? Well, we can't. We could, say, cash the ace of spades and then lead the 10 of spades, and if they don't cover, then we can do it. But that's a big problem. You shouldn't play these suit combinations assuming your opponents are going to make a mistake. So if West had Jack, 9, 4th spade, they'll just put the Jack on the 10 and now their 9 is promoted. So if West has 4 spades to the Jack, then there is nothing that we can actually do about it. So we can pick up spades being 3-2, and we can also pick up spades being 4-1 with East, but we don't want to give up on any 3-2 distributions. So how can we discover if East has 4 spades before committing to finessing to the 10 of spades? So what we want to do on this hand is we want to cash one of our top honours in the south hand first. So here, if we win the first club, instead of playing a spade to the king and a spade to the ace, what we want to do is we want to start with one top spade from our hand first. And now we want to lead towards the king. And when West discards, we've now discovered that spades are 4-1, and we can play a spade towards the 10 and pick up this suit for no cost. Whereas if we backtrack to the start and don't cash the ace of spades, we can play a spade towards the king, And we could play a spade towards the 10, but as we mentioned, that's bad because that doesn't play for spades being 3-2. So here, when we win, what happens now is we've discovered spades are 4-1, but we're in the wrong hand. So this, when choosing the right card with this suit combination, what we want to do is start with one of the top honors and then lead towards the king so that we can still finesse the queen 10. So it doesn't matter which of the ace, king, queen they are. So you want to start with one of them, of the ace, queen, or the hand with two of them. Move over to the hand with the other one, and then this discovers if spades are 4-1 so that you can finesse if they break that way. And if they're not, you just play back to your final top honor. And so this is really dependent on who has the 10 and who you can actually finesse for the jack. So even if I moved this queen of spades over to the north hand, so north had king, queen, 3, and south had ace, 10, 6, 5, 4, then what we could do is with the 10 of spades, this tells us that only we can finesse east for the spade because we don't have the 9 of spades. We can't finesse the other way. So we would play over to the king, and then we would cash the queen, discovering if the spades were 4-1, and if they were, then play over towards the ace 10. So what we're doing here is we know that we want to play for spades to be 3-2 most of the time, but we thought of the fringe cases. Which of the bad splits can we pick up? We can't pick up any of the 5-0s, but we can pick up 4-1s, but only with east. So let's first discover if east has 4 spades, be in the right hand once we've discovered it, and then we can finesse. So again, what we do in this case is we start with one of the top spades here, because we want to be in the north hand on the second one. We discover that west is out, and now we can finesse. Okay, so let's look at another example. Alright, so let's go to 7 spades, and we get jack of clubs lead again. Alright, so here, again, we're only worrying about the spade suit, and we've got no losers outside. So let's say we've got this suit, and we've got 9 of them this time. So how do we want to play this? Well, spades are probably 3-1 or 2-2, so it doesn't matter if we cash out ace, king, queen. That'll all be good. But that's not how you should think about it. If it doesn't matter, find a fringe case where it does. So here, what you want to do instead is go, okay, if they're 2-2 or 3-1, it doesn't matter. But what if they're 4-0? Okay, so if west has 4 spades to the jack 10, we could cash the king of spades and discover that east has 0, and we know that west has jack, 10, and the 6 and the 4. So they would have played one little one. Then we can play the 9 of spades, and it would go 9, 10, queen, cross back to our hand, and we can play the 8 of spades, 8, jack, ace, and our 7's a winner, and we would have drawn the trumps. So we can pick up spades being 4-1 with west. What about 4-0, sorry. What about 4-0 with east? Well, if we even played a small spade, east could put in the 10, we'd win the king, and now we can't finesse again. So with this 4-0, we can only pick it up with west having it. And the way to think about this is, how many relevant missing cards are there? So we care about the jack and the 10. All right? They're the 2 big cards that we care about. And in order to do a finesse of that, we need 2 higher honors. So if they've got 2, we need 2. So because we're missing the jack and the 10, we need 2 honors in the same hand to actually pick that up. See, if east has jack 10, we've only got 1 here, so when we lead small spade towards it, they split, we win, and we can't finesse again because we don't have enough honors in the same hand. But the north hand's got 2 honors and can pick it up. So let's look at this. So we want to win, and we want to assume that first of all we're going to be playing for 2-2 or 3-1 divisions, but then we want to think which fringe cases doesn't matter. So most of the time we're going to be cashing the ace, king, queen, but because we're missing 2 relevant cards, we want to keep 2 honors in the same hand to protect against it. If they're 3-1, we don't need to worry about that. So here, what we want to do is we want to start with the king of spades. And then here, when we find out that spades are 4-0, we can do this double finesse. So we can play spade, they cover, and the discard, and we'll come back to the south hand. And now we can finesse again. If they play low, we play low. And if they put the jack on it, our 7 is good, and we can cross back to it. Okay, and we get our tricks. But let's backtrack. And what if we didn't put the king of spades on first? Okay, but instead played a low spade. Okay, so even though West has 4 spades and we could finesse the 7, we haven't discovered it yet. So the discoverability is really important. But now when they show out, we don't have 2 honors in the same hand to actually finesse it. So here, even if we lead back to the king and lead a spade, they just cover it, and they've got the jack of spades. So if we cash the ace or queen first in this case, we're not going to make this contract. So here, we've got 9 spades. Yes, they're going to be breaking 2-2 or 3-1 the vast majority of the time, in which case it doesn't matter if we play out ace, king, or queen. But what you want to do is work out, for those fringe cases, when does it actually matter? And here it matters if spades are 4-0 and West has them, and we need 2 honors in the same hand to be able to do a double finesse. Alright, okay, we'll get back to it again. And what about this time? So here we've got 9 spades again, but this time we're only missing the jack as a relevant card. So there's only one big card that's relevant here. So what should we do? So again, if spades are 2-2 or 3-1, we just cash our ace, king, queen, and they're all good. But what about if they're 4-0? Now, because there's one card that we're caring about, the jack, we only need 1 higher honor in any hand for us to take a finesse. So let's look how this can work. Which spade honors should we start off with? Should we start off with the ace or the king or the queen? So if they're 2-2 or 3-1, it doesn't matter in the slightest. But what if they're 4-0? So can we pick that up? So if West has 4 spades to the jack, we could cash the king of spades and then finesse the 10 through them, and that's fine. If East has the jack of spades, jack to 4 spades, we could cash the ace of spades and then play a spade towards the 10. So we can pick up spades being 4-0 either way, but what we want to work out is how can we discover that before committing to that line? Because if East has 4 spades to the jack and we start with the king of spades, then we can no longer pick that up. But if we start with the ace of spades or the queen of spades, we then discover if they're 4-0, and then we can play the relevant person to have 4 spades. So let's see how this works. So here, what we want to do is we want to lead a low spade towards the ace, and here we discover that West has none of them. So once we've done this, we can just play a spade to the 10, king of spades, and spade back. So we can finesse straight away. What if it was the West hand that had 4 spades though? If East was the person that showed out, what we could do is we could lead a low spade towards the king, and East is still discarding here, and then we could lead the 10 of spades and finesse and capture their jack. So by cashing the ace or the queen first up, we discover which person's got the 4-0 split, and then we can play appropriately. And the reason this is different to the previous hand is because this one we're only missing 1 of the cards that we care about, so we only need 1 honor higher in each hand to be able to take that finesse. Alright, so one more hand that I want to show, and this one's a bit of a tricky example, but again, let's get back to 7 spades. And here, another club lead. So what do we want to do here? We've got 8 spades, and we're missing the queen, 10, 8, 8, 7, 6. So we're missing 5 spades to the queen and 10. So how do we want to deal with this? So most people would just cash the ace of spades and lead low towards the jack, but we really want no losers in spades. So if we cash the ace of spades, what's that actually protecting against? Think about the fringe cases. So what if we drop East singleton queen. That means when we play spades, the jack, it doesn't lose because we've dropped the singleton queen. But if we drop the singleton queen, what does that give the West hand? Well, they've got 10, 8, 7, 6. And they'd still have a winner, because after we'd dropped the singleton queen, we could lead the 9, which would go 9, 10, jack, and then they'd go king, and now their 8 would be winning the trick. So even if there was a singleton queen with East, there's nothing that we can do about it. So do we need spades to be 3-2 with West having the queen? Not quite. That's the most likely way we're going to get all our tricks, but there is one case where we can do it as well, which is, what if West has a singleton queen? Okay, we can't pick up East having a singleton queen, but what if West has a singleton queen? What we can do is not cash the ace of spades first, but we can start with a low spade, and if a small spade appears, we just put in the jack, because we were going to play spades to be 3-2 with West having the queen, because that was the most likely case. But if the queen does appear, what we can do is we can cash the king, and then we can discover if spades are 4-1. Just make sure that West didn't put it in. And now we've got this ace-9 sitting over the 10, and we can finesse through East to pick up the spade suit. Now, spades being 3-2 with the queen with West is by far the most likely case, so that's why we would take the finesse, and spade to the jack will work for all those cases. And what you'll realize is cashing the ace of spades won't work for in any other case. So that's all I wanted to cover today. We looked at a few different suit combinations and how we should be trying to play them, but the main thought process that you want to be going through in these types of cases is thinking about the fringe case. If they're 3-2 with the queen onside, or if the suit's breaking 2-2, 3-1, blah blah blah, it tends not to matter. Like, the normal way of playing it will work for you. But what happens when the suit isn't going to break well? Which of these can we actually pick up, and how do we actually do that? And how many missing relevant cards are there that we want to finesse? And keeping that many higher honors in a particular hand can help you solve that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this featured lesson, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.